Show on Facebook Live on this lovely Monday in November with your host Matty Highland
Smitty McQueen.
There's plenty of news from an extraordinary weekend in football in both the college and professional ranks. How about we get the show started with some college football, Smitty?
Yeah, what a weekend it was. Everything is starting now to set itself up, but not quite so fast because you got the championship games, you got teams that think they've secured their spot in the college football playoff, and yet they might not get in. It's very interesting. Obviously, tomorrow is the day where the College Football Playoff Committee drops their rankings one last time before
December 4th. Yep.
Should be a great one. We will have our college football rankings tomorrow. We can talk a little after we go through our picks on our college football thoughts from this past weekend. First one, we talked Friday. There was 3 key games we had selected. When we were on the show, we made our picks earlier before this game had even started, but we kind of knew what was going on when we were on the show. North Carolina State upsets the Tar Heels, beat them 28-21. UNC, with that loss, it eliminated them from the ACC championship game against either Clemson or Louisville, which Louisville ended up getting stunned, so it was Clemson. But yeah, UNC, they needed that win, and then they needed help as well. Your thoughts on the game? You took UNC. They've let you down now twice this year. What's your thoughts on it?
This, like I said Friday, this seems more of a basketball matchup than it is football, like marquee matchup. UNC just didn't come to play, and NC State they did what they came to do, and they upset North Carolina. I can't really say much else on that. I know you picked NC State. It was a solid pick. And
yeah.
As we were doing the show, like you said, the score was not good.
Yeah, it was not good. You're still struggling with your college football picks, Matt. What is...
Yes.
You're just not... I guess you're more into your NFL?
I am into the NFL. Big time.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, it's enough about the Tar Heel State, or the North Carolina State, I should say. Another matchup that day on the other side of the United States. Number 5 Washington, they won the Apple Cup in blowout fashion over their in-state rivals, Washington State, 45-17. Now they set up this huge Pac-12 championship with Colorado. I had Washington. You had Washington.
Yeah.
It's plain and simple.
Pretty clear. Washington went in, took care of business. There was something at stake for them. They knew the winner of this game was going to represent the Pac-12 championship. The only way Washington can keep their playoff chances alive is to win out. And they had to do that. They got the job done. Now they take on the Buffs. They didn't know at the time who they were going to get. They knew it was going to be Colorado or USC, depending on Saturday's game. But it was a huge win. And very huge game this weekend for both Washington, and then we'll get on to Colorado later in today's show as well. We might give our thoughts on who we might take in that game. Yeah, pretty crazy, way big blowout win.
Yes.
Huge statement for Washington. They might just jump into the top 4 after this past weekend because there was a big number 2 and number 3 matchup.
Someone was going to lose.
Yeah,
We'll get to that
yeah.
later.
Iowa hosted the 16th-ranked Cornhuskers from Nebraska. It wasn't even a game. 40-10, Iowa. Matt, you took the Cornhuskers.
I have no words. It's just a devastating loss for the Huskers.
Yeah, they had a lot at stake too.
Yeah,
and they didn't even show up. Sad.
I can't say anything. So I think we should move on.
I'm
speechless here.
I took the Hawkeyes.
Those are always good matchups to see. They usually are. But when Armstrong's banged up.
Yeah, and that's a big loss for the
being
Huskers.
the quarterback, and they couldn't get anything. 10 points. It's like the Raiders against the Chiefs 2 months ago.
Yeah. Yep. That was all for Friday's games. I went a whopping 3-0. You went a whopping 1-2. So, we'll move into Saturdays. Matt, the biggest game in college football that we have seen this year up until this date. Now, obviously, we're going to see better games. Maybe not. But we're going to see games like these. And it was the number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes and the number 3 Michigan University Wolverines. This one had to go to double overtime. Back and forth game. Ohio State pulled out the slim margin, 30-27. You took Michigan. I took the Buckeyes. Your score was 3 points. You got that correct, and you took Ohio State. You'd have been right on the spot. I had 11 points, Ohio State. I just thought it would be too much in the shoe, but Michigan played a well all-around game. There was a call on 4th and 1. I don't know if there was enough to overturn it. I know there's one guy that is very upset about that.
And he's commenting now, and it's kind of hilarious. Mr. Eric Harrington is a diehard Michigan fan, and when this comment just now, he said the officials were Ohio State's best players. I agree with you, and I'm an official. That was not a first down at all. The ball, the lineman in front of him, who he ran into, his backside was still behind that line to gain. That is not a first down. But what are you going to do? Whatever. It's over with. Sorry to the Harrington fam and the Harbaugh fam up there. I thought Michigan had it. They got Jabril Peppers, a Heisman hopeful. It was kind of tough to play.
It was a great game.
Great matchup. Everything on paper looked really good, and we went into double overtime. I love that. I really love that. That's what you want to see in sports. And Michigan's out. I'm calling it right now.
You are
They are not going to be in that top 4. Because they're not in the championship game of the Big Ten. If you're not in the Big Ten championship, especially the 4 teams that are right there in the top 7, those guys are going to.
I see where you're coming from.
It's different. It's unusual to have 6 and 7 be in the championship in the national rankings of the Big Ten championship, and the 2 and the 3 or 2 and the 5 now not in it.
I see where you're coming from. I'm just not sure, though, how the committee's going to do this. I think Michigan is done. I really do. And I think it's a shame because I think by far Michigan and I really do. I think Michigan by far is the better team of those that are left. I really do. But I'm very excited to see. I picked Ohio State just because I wanted to see a scenario where, because we saw this a few years ago with the Big 12, I wanted to see a scenario where neither of these 2 teams who are ranked 2 and 3 are playing for a Big Ten championship. I got it. And I'm very happy. I'm ready to see what the committee does. The committee is going to, I think it's going to be
hopefully we get an understanding of how they make their selections.
Very much so, man.
And like us, avid sports fans, it's like the whole country that is wrapped around this college football playoff system. They are so curious as to who gets what based off what. And it's going to be very interesting. And do you have anything else about this game?
I mean,
you think they get in? Ohio State gets in? I know we got some protesters on here.
I think Ohio State will get in, but just because, I mean, come on, look at what they just did. They beat the number 3 team, Michigan. I think the committee feels like these are the best 2 teams. It's sad because Michigan is probably going to get left off because they're not, first off, playing for a Big Ten championship. They also lost this past week, so they have no push now to get into the 4. They can't go get another win. They can't just go smack someone by 40 points and say, okay, we've done our job. Because that's what Ohio State did in the Big Ten. The first year this committee was we had the college football rankings. TCU and Baylor, they didn't have a conference championship in the Big 12. Ohio State did. The committee felt like that was
there in
yeah.
sense.
The committee felt like that was enough to put the Big Ten game. They just trounced on, I believe it was Wisconsin that year. Trounced on them.
Gordon, yes.
Yeah, trounced on them, and the committee thought that was enough. I was very disappointed with that. I'm excited to see if the Big Ten gets 2 teams in this because they are the powerhouse in the conference this year. They are the best powerhouse conference this year in college football. It's gonna play out, and I think that we're just gonna go ahead and go into about Wisconsin, the number 6 team, has a huge fourth quarter that lifts them over Minnesota, which it didn't matter if they lost that game. They were going
They were in the championship.
to the championship in the Big Ten because of Nebraska's loss on Friday. Now, had they lost that game, then I would maybe say, okay, Michigan might still be in contention to still get in that playoff. Because here, and then if Wisconsin would have beat Penn State, who they play now, that's my take on that. I do feel like Michigan would have jumped in there maybe. Would you have? I think it was a huge win for Wisconsin.
They did their job. They went in. They came up huge in the fourth quarter, like you said, and they got the job done 31-17, and sets a tone for this Big Ten championship that could be interesting to see what happens. Committee time. I'm gonna wait till that committee says anything tomorrow because I don't want to. It's hard to talk about it when we don't have a rankings out right now, and
yeah,
I'll wait on that front.
Very is true. I mean, we will see the rankings come out obviously tomorrow night, but yeah, you don't know who's gonna be who and who. Penn State. Obviously, we just talked about them. Number 8 took care of the Spartans. 45-12. They claim a spot in the Big Ten championship game now against Wisconsin, but it was because of Ohio State's win. Wow.
Big Ten. Whoa, that's crazy.
That's why I really do. I see 2 Big Ten teams getting into this, which I think is right.
I don't, but I'll have more on that tomorrow and Wednesday.
I believe there should be just because of the power count. But in a way I don't because you got these teams such as Washington, Clemson, they have 1 loss.
Western Michigan is undefeated. Yes, they don't play in a Power 5 conference.
And see, the committee doesn't
they
look
are
at that.
Undefeated. And every Michigan State, thanks to our Eric, our stats guy,
Sparty.
every team in Michigan except for Spartans is bowl eligible. That is weird. That is crazy. It's unusual. Fire up chips, according to Eric. But I forgot what I was talking about.
You said what Michigan should be in. You think they should be in the college football?
No.
The reason the committee's not going to do that.
They're not going to put 2 Big Ten teams in. They can't. Or 2 teams from 1 conference in. You have 4 spots, and you have 5 Power 5 conferences. That's kind of flawed right there. And I know there's been talk of maybe an expanded bracket, which would be cool. Then you would also have, like our friend Kyle Schmidt said, the 9 and 10 teams, and that would be terrified. They'd be like, why don't we get it? there's always going to be people who are not happy. I would like to see it expanded, but right now, not two teams in the same conference.
Yeah, by far. Yeah, I agree. Western Michigan will not get in, though. I am sorry. They will not get in because committees do not, they just don't like
Boise State.
those small market, like, not small market, but like small college.
SES
Yeah.
schools, yes.
Just, if you're not in the Power 5, you get no respect unless you go out and you take care of a Big 10 school, a Big 12, and let's say an SEC
yeah.
and non-conference. That's going to be I mean, it's probably going to be kind of impossible to do. But until those schools do that, they're not going to get any love from the committee. This thing needs to be expanded, though. It really does, Matt. And we'll talk about that after the rest of our picks. Because Virginia Tech routed Virginia 52-10. They're going up against number 4 Clemson next Saturday.
Clemson is good. They deserve to be in this playoff now that number 3 team dropped out. Deshaun Watson, possibly top pick next year in the draft.
Yeah, I mean,
he's going to be the best quarterback in that class
by far.
He's more NFL ready than the Notre Dame quarterback. I can't think of his name right now, but I was watching it earlier on ESPN. Clemson could route them 52-10. Yes, Virginia Tech routed Virginia, but it's a whole different ballgame when you go against the number 4 team in the country.
Yeah, it is.
Or 3 team.
And Notre Dame, their struggles continue. I mean, they are a laughing stock right now. They get rolled by number 12 USC 45-27. We both picked that right.
I don't see any other way you could take that.
No.
We have a friend that loves Notre Dame more than life and hates USC almost as much as I hate Missouri, but sorry, it's not Notre Dame's year. Brian Kelly.
He might be out.
I don't know. There was talk today about Brian Kelly. He's like leaving it unheard. He was thinking of maybe taking a year. This is what Hurd said. Taking a year
Colin
off
Coward.
and going somewhere like a Tennessee maybe. End quote.
He needs to get in a power conference because he could do damage.
But Brian Kelly came out and said, "I love Notre Dame," and he wants to stay at Notre Dame. He wants to think about nothing but Notre Dame football. He wants to make Notre Dame good and great again. And he said he will stop at nothing, really. Paraphrasing here.
Notre Dame, though, their season's over with. No one really everyone's over Notre Dame this year. Once again, preseason ranking way too high, way too overrated. It showed at the end. Number 1, Bama. Is it safe to say I think it is by far safe to say they are in the college football playoff. There is no way this team is not going to lose until maybe they face these teams that get into college football. But Bama, they rout Auburn 30-12.
I
took
Auburn.
Yeah.
And thinking they would put up a fight, but Bama is too good. They are unstoppable.
Yeah.
They're undefeated.
Yeah. And they're going to probably keep it going. They get Florida now in the SEC Championship. I don't see that even being a close game. Florida's played better. They are starting to get back to where Urban Meyer had them, back in the Tim Tebow, Chris Leaf days. Matt, number 9, Colorado Buffaloes. Their defense came up huge the other night to keep them alive. They clinch a spot with Washington now. Can they find the college football top 4?
I respect Colorado now. I actually watched them for the first time this year, more than just the highlights. They are a solid team. Yeah. They struggled a little bit in that game offensively. They got it going, but I still don't think, I'm not sold on Colorado making the top 4. due to their resume. They lost to USC and they lost to Michigan. And Michigan's ahead of them still, no matter if Michigan is not in or in either. It could be, you say there's possibly 2 teams from one conference. I don't think that's true, but I don't think Colorado gets in.
I think by far
They're too far back. Just
I like what the Buffs have done.
too many
this
Big
year.
Ten teams right in front of them.
I have loved what the Buffs have done. Had they beat Michigan, they were winning that game in Ann Arbor. Had they won that game, Colorado is in the college football playoff with a win. Without a doubt.
I agree, yes.
Without a doubt. That is a game that they are probably kicking themselves right now, thinking, wow, we were beating Michigan there. If we would have won that, we would be in the college football playoff with a win this weekend. I had some buddies at that game this past weekend. He had a blast. I'm happy for the Buffaloes. I know a lot of Colorado fans that have been just down in the bottom. I'm there this year with Oregon, and it sucks. It sucks. But I am happy for the Buffs. Even if they do not get a spot in the college football playoff, they are going to find a great bowl game, and this is a good thing for their program, especially if they can keep this roll going, because I really think the Buffs, with this new coach,
They'll be back again next year.
yeah.
I think maybe the year after that, depending on if anybody
Yeah.
leaves.
Yeah, I'll talk about this after our last pick we had. You had your Jayhawks, Sunflower Showdown. Really, it was a better game than what most people, I think, thought it was going to be. The Hawks came out to play in the second half.
I think the Jayhawks found their quarterback for next year. Carter Stanley, redshirt freshman. He grew up like big time, and Dorrance Armstrong is a heck of a defensive end, and Mike Lee, as a true freshman on that defensive side, is a safety or a defensive back. We got pieces. The KU has pieces they're putting together for David Beatty, and he's gonna improve next year too. I believe so, and he might even get 2 Big 12 wins next year.
They very well could.
And I don't see them contending yet, but they're 2 years from now, they'll be back, maybe possibly with a winning record.
They are definitely going in the right direction. Bill Snyder, the key storyline in this, 200th career win.
I have mad respect for Bill Snyder.
That is impressive.
Yes.
K-State, it was awesome because Alex Delton did get a play. I said he would play, except I said garbage time. He came in because of injuries, the local kid here from Hayes. I am disappointed they did not let him throw much. I don't know if it's because he doesn't know the offense that good, if his arm's not... His arm was great in high school. I saw it. It kind of disappointed me, though, to not see him get a chance to step back when everyone was expecting a run from him. Let him throw one. Who cares if it gets intercepted? The defense had played good for most of the game. Now, yes, KU came back. The defense kind of let up a little, which a lot of that, I think, goes back to when Ertz went out, because he was I think he averaged like 8 or 9 yards a carry on the day.
As a quarterback.
As a quarterback, yeah. So that was definitely a huge loss for the Cats on offense, especially. It was enough, though, to get the job done. It was. Matt, for the week, you went 6-6. You are
500.
14-18 on the year. You have a couple more. We'll have some more games, though. You can bring that above 500, hopefully. On the other hand, you have much words for mine. I mean,
25-7. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
25-7.
I went a whopping
Undefeated this week. Congrats,
12-0.
Smitty McQueen.
12-0 this week. I hope you guys took my side. Now, I don't know if the Lions were. I didn't calculate that. I'm sure some of them were off, especially the K-State. I took K-State pretty big. But, hey, if you're in a pick'em league, hopefully I did you good this week. Anyway,
Any more
thoughts? Yeah.
more college football championship week, big time championship week thoughts before the college football rankings come out tomorrow night? I mean, we've kind of stated it a little bit. I said that I'm holding off my analysis until the rankings come out.
I want to know this real quick. And who do you think has the best chance with a win this week in a conference championship to jump into the college football playoff?
It's kind of hard because the Big 12 doesn't have a conference championship game, technically.
Yeah, you really like the Sooners.
I'm big on the Sooners, and we have some friends here that love the Sooners, and they've been through it all with the loss to Ohio State, and yes, the loss to Houston, but they've gotten some great wins, some big-time wins against Virginia and West Virginia in the snow, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Routed them in the snow, and they're number 8. Yes, they have 3 Big Ten teams directly in front of them.
4, technically.
And
Michigan's not going to drop much, I don't think.
But I don't think they might be, without the conference championship game, I don't think they get in. With the conference championship games,
what team is a surprise team?
Washington, whether they lose to Colorado. If they lose to Colorado, we might see Colorado in the top 4. We might. I'm not saying it is. It's going to be tough because of the resume, but
I'm going to go with... I've liked Penn State and Wisconsin. You know, once we kind of saw the number 2, 3, and 4 team lose that week, we started to dive into those teams, you know, like we're talking about. They're looking on the outside, looking in. I really think the winner of that game clinches a spot in the college football playoff. I really do.
Even after Michigan routed Penn State and Penn State blocked a field goal
yeah,
against Ohio State. It's a circle. It's
crazy. That's why
teams beat up on each other too much in college athletics.
And this is where I want to see college football expanded out to 8. Just go 8. And you put an undefeated team in, no matter what, who they are. If they are undefeated, they are at least an 8 seed. You can rank them then on that. Because Western Michigan, they deserve a spot in the college football playoff. We've seen Boise State before. Back in the BCS against Oklahoma, they get snubbed. Boise got snubbed a lot. And even this year, had they been undefeated, the committee is not going to give them enough. I do not like that. I think that you need to have 8 teams and anyone undefeated gets in. I don't care if they're all 8 teams. Put them in there. They're the best. They are undefeated on the year. That is where, because yes, like you said, it is a circle, and we will talk more on this tomorrow, I'm sure. Once we'll give our rankings. We have no idea.
And Fan Day Wednesday.
Yeah,
that's a crucial.
Fan Day Wednesday. Make sure we want your opinions.
Yes, we would love outside sources.
Because we will have the phone lines open,
yes.
and it'll be 5:30, I think we said, or 6 o'clock.
Sometime.
We'll tell you tomorrow
I got
on the
a
show.
meeting, so.
We will tell you on the show tomorrow.
We'll move on now to before Brandon gets a little heated.
Oh, we're ready, man. We're ready.
We'll move on to the Sunday matchups of the NFL this week, and yesterday was a pretty awesome day for football, and for us too. We are grinding that head-to-head match, our pick'ems. We are tied. We are deadlocked at 8-2 this week, both of us, and we're both 21-11 for the year. And oh man, the first matchup we had the Falcons. They cruise handily versus the Cardinals. Cardinals are done. They are toast. I said stick a fork in the Bengals last week. Stick a fork in the Cardinals this week. 38-19 to keep atop the NFC South. We both picked Atlanta, but we thought it was going to be a closer game.
Yes, the Cardinals.
It
is safe to say, are the NFL's biggest disappointment this season.
NFC Championship last year.
They added a couple pieces to their team.
They didn't lose any key names whatsoever. They even got Honey Badger back after ACL surgery, and they are just.
It's a big disappointment for them because
Plateaued.
they were the favorites in the NFC coming into the
They
year.
were my favorites.
Almost favorites, yes.
Yeah.
They were mine as well. They have let everyone down. It's sad because I really thought Larry Fitzgerald would maybe get a Super Bowl ring. Time is running out in that guy's career.
And
Carson Palmer, yes.
Old timer.
Both of those guys, they're going to have maybe one or two more runs after this year, if that. And it's very sad because those are some of the classiest players in the league. And
I agree.
And
100%.
it's a big disappointment. Yes, we both took the Falcons. Falcons, do you think they will end up winning the NFC South? Because there is a team that is coming up, and we will talk about them after these next two picks.
Yeah. You smell that? Smells like Up Dog. What's Up Dog? Oh, nothing much. That's the joke that Justin Tucker said in his post-game press conference. It is from The Office. Lovely show. Great show.
One of your favorites?
One of my favorites, all time, and many people's. The Ravens get a much-needed win to regain control of the AFC North with a 19-14 win over the Bengals, who are toast. Fork last week, toast this week.
Burnt toast.
Burnt toast. We both picked the Ravens. Good picks.
Yes, yeah, I think that was.
I can't say anything on this game because it's just everybody knows the Ravens are much better than the Bengals.
Ravens.
Bengals are done. Ravens are coming up.
Ravens are leading the AFC North
Yes.
again.
I have no
week,
words.
I believe it's week 16, the Ravens and Steelers. That is going to decide the AFC North.
Yes.
But Saints were out the Rams yesterday. You took the Rams. For some reason,
They were
you thought their
starting out
defense-
very well, and their defensive line, I'm not the only person that says this, their defensive line is maybe, aside from last night, Chiefs, maybe the best in the league with Aaron Donald and, gosh, I can't think of the other guys' names, but they are so good and so powerful, but Drew Brees is too much.
Don't ever
And
count out Drew Brees.
yeah. Aside from Tom Brady, in today's game, the most consistent quarterback in the league. And he showed out with 5 touchdowns, and even a wide receiver had a 50-yard touchdown pass.
Yep.
Willie Snead. And they just killed the Rams. Whoa. 49 points, the most, I think, this year. Is what's on my little stat fact I saw. Good pick.
I never take.
That's one of my 2 losses.
This next one, we both lost. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who you've kind of, were really upset with last week. That might not be a bad loss when you
Going
think back
forward,
now.
yeah.
Yes, because they beat the Seattle Seahawks 14-5 yesterday, and they pretty much owned the entire game. Russell Wilson didn't even have 200 yards, threw 2 picks, didn't even have a touchdown. Big win for the Bucs. They are still in playoff contention. Watch out.
Trevor Smith knows what he's talking about with his Bucks.
I still am not a Jameis Winston fan.
He is. I'm not sold yet, but he's getting there.
He's
As a
getting up
second-year quarterback, and it's a great battle between him and Mariota. I will let you know that right now. It is.
I agree.
If they would play each other,
Well, we saw them play each other week 1
Yeah,
last year,
if
and
they would
then
play each other-
Marcus once again took care. Yeah, because both of those guys are
now that they're developed a year in the system, whoa,
both Marcus and Jameis are just starting to play.
it's a topic of conversations most
Yes,
days.
Buccaneers. They gotta get still some help to get into the playoffs, but they are only, I believe, a game out of the Atlanta Falcons. So that is definitely the NFC South is a race to watch.
Yes.
Saints kept their season alive yesterday with a big win. Yeah, it's getting
It's
intense.
looking good for the Buccaneers. That race is tightening up. Seahawks, they dropped one, but I don't know if they're done. They're if they're going to fall off because they're still the Seattle Seahawks. They've been in 3 of the last
Definitely
5
was.
Super Bowls, 2 of the last 4, or something like that.
Definitely was a tough game to lose for the Seahawks because they are still chasing the Cowboys for home field playoffs. They really need home field.
Home field
It's huge for the
huge
Seahawks,
in the NFC.
especially in the
All
12th
of them.
man. Yeah, definitely. Matt, Derek Carr, he's starting to get into. Yeah, is your pinky still in place?
He dislocated his pinky in 2 spots. He didn't break it. The word today, he dislocated 2 spots, and it did not look pretty. And his face showed it.
He's kind of slipping up into MVP talks now.
Oh, he's been in MVP talks for me. But
I'm not.
increasing.
They're increasing big,
nationwide.
and we will have more on that tomorrow in tomorrow's show as to who our MVP favorites are. But Derek Carr leads a comeback win over the Panthers to keep atop the AFC West for now. We both picked the Raiders. I had the Panthers at first, and I was thinking, oh boy, I am regretting my pick because I changed it when Kuechly was no longer going to play. And then I changed it back to the Raiders. Thank goodness I did.
I wish he did that.
But yeah. So the Raiders, they stay atop. Panthers, their season's still slipping. They're not out of it yet, but they are very close. They are on the brinks.
I'm almost ready to stick that fork. I'm ready to get the fork. The top season people know what I'm talking about from last year. For me, especially.
And then, yeah.
Cam Newton, they don't have faith in him. That team. Was it the Herd, Colin Cowherd today? He said that they're 4th and 1, and they punt it.
Last year.
With the game on the line.
Last year they wouldn't have done that.
And he's very inconsistent. And yesterday was a low point for him. Aside from the AFC West, we'll move on to the top quarterback in the AFC right now, Tom Brady. 200th career win, or is it career win? Yeah.
Yep.
22-17 victory over the Jets. Snuck out of there alive. We both thought it would be more of a spread. 5 points is still.
Yeah.
Jets are done.
Tom Brady is Tom Brady.
And he does Tom Brady things.
New England is New England. They, I think, are the favorite in the AFC because they are going to get home field. They will get home field. Unless
Dolphins come up and beat them or something. Or
yeah.
even Bills again.
They're done with the Bills.
Bills,
yeah.
Someone's going to play spoilers to them.
They've got the Broncos.
I don't know if they get the 1 seed, but they might. They'll. I agree with home field.
Their schedule remaining. There's only one team I really think they could lose to. They've got the Rams, the Ravens. They go to Denver. That is the game I think they might lose. Play the Jets, and then they play at Miami. Miami. I know you've said Miami.
Miami is number 6 in the AFC in the playoff standings right now, and don't count them out. But
my thing with Miami, there has been previous years, they need to win. They've had the chance where we win, we're in, and they choke.
Last year.
The only way I could see Dolphins winning this is if New England has wrapped up home field and rest Brady, rest Gronk, all those guys. Gronk, interesting topic though. Gronk did leave the game yesterday. That is very, very huge for the Patriots. Hopefully he's healthy. Gronk's an awesome player, one of the best tight ends in the league. Probably the best tight end in the league. But it is going to be that. Thank goodness they signed Martellus Bennett. Because
insurance.
yes. Because Gronk, I feel like Gronk has been playing injured all season. He's just a competitor. He's going to keep doing that. So, that's my thought. Matt?
Let's move on to Sunday Night Football. Last night. Goal! Cairo Santos, a Brazilian native, just doinked it. That's the best word I can of. I'm at a loss for words here. Doink is the best word to describe the sound that ball made when it hit the upright. And whoa, that ball just sneaked right in, and it shot clear to the right, and I was scared for a second. Dustin Colquitt, the photo of the night was when Santos was like, yes, and Colquitt's like, oh my goodness, he did not know it was in, and they were waiting for the signal, and Santos was looking up, and he knew. What a victory for the Chiefs. What a victory. With that victory, the Broncos fall to 7th in the conference. Chiefs are still 5 in the playoff standings because the Raiders are still a game ahead. But man, this game was a defensive battle between two of the premier pass rushers in this league. I want to say the two best pass rushers in the league right now, with the Denver Broncos, Von Miller having 3 sacks on the night. Justin Houston, a healthy Justin Houston, 3 sacks and a forced fumble, and helped get the safety to start out the scoring. But how that defense is great. The wild card, the unexpected player of the game, Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
4.25 speed at the combine, and he flew yesterday. First player since 1965, Gale Sayers, who played at KU.
Played for the Bears.
And played for the Bears. Had a receiving touchdown on the end of the game thing that could have been overturned. A rushing touchdown with a crack block by Albert Wilson. I'm not a fan of Albert Wilson, but man, that guy made a hell of a block at the most perfect time. And then he had the free kick return for a touchdown, who high-five teammate DeAnthony Thomas in Oregon.
DAT.
Fella on his way to the end zone, and this guy's something special. He can have 2 more to his resume, return touchdowns, but they've been called back for holding penalties. Another thing is Alex Smith needs to make the plays by calling the plays when it is crucial, of course, but they need to change it up and go almost hurry up every now and then, even in the first quarter, in the second quarter. Because Alex Smith is he's a much better QB and game manager. He's a game manager. He's a much better game manager when he is in the hurry up. He did it at Utah, and he was the number 1 overall pick that year, ahead of Aaron Rodgers, who was I think 23. That is
it was.
Why couldn't they do that? They had to wait till the fourth quarter to do that.
The thing with that, and I've been talking to some people today about it, because I've heard a ton of people saying the Chiefs need to go hurry up all game. It is one thing to do it all game, but in the instance, Chiefs were down 8, and I said there's a lot of time left. That touchdown helped the Chiefs more than anything, really. Teams,
because it gave them time.
Yeah.
3 minutes on the clock.
Teams will play better in the hurry up when they're down. The reason why, the defense is giving them different. The defense is playing a whole different ball game than when it first, second, third quarters, when teams do the hurry up. The reason why is because they're eliminating the out of bounds and the deep ball, obviously. So I think, because I've said this a ton of times, why don't teams do more hurry-ups when they've been struggling all game? I've seen it a ton with the Seahawks. They struggle on offense all the time, and then they get in the hurry-up when they're like down, and then they start to move the ball better. I feel like more of it is because of the way the defense is playing the opposition on offense, and so that's where I think that, yes, I think the Chiefs need to do more hurry up. I will say that. The Chiefs' offense has really, both Denver and the Chiefs, for 3 quarters, really had not done much.
The defense just took over the game.
And I think both teams, yes, the defenses are exceptional. I say two of the top 3 best defenses in the league, obviously, because you got to put the Seahawks up there. Their defense is good.
And that is with Chiefs without 5 of their starters.
Yes, and that's very true, too.
Incredible.
That is very true. You saw a healthy Denver defense. I feel like Bronco fans are thinking, oh, we finally got our healthy, secondary back. It definitely made it harder on the Chiefs. Chiefs still put a lot of pressure on Denver. Denver had to make adjustments on the line during the game. They used 3 different linemen at one position. So I think it was a great game. I don't care if you're a fan, if you're a Broncos fan and you're, obviously this is a huge rivalry. Luckily, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I just got to relax, watch the game. You see Bronco fans, probably like, oh, this was a huge loss for us. Don't be offended. That was a great game. I don't care if you love or hate each other. Whoever won that game last night, or if it finished in a tie, which there's a lot of talk saying Gary Kubiak should have punted. Here's the thing on that. Gary Kubiak was trying to win a game. He was not satisfied with tying. And I love his guts play. Because if that was my team, yes, I'd be like, okay, after the game, yeah, we should have punted, okay? But you got to look back. These are division games. You only get 6 division games, 2 at each other. You're looking on the outside like, hey, the only way we're going to have a chance to win a division and get into the playoffs is if we kick this and win it. McManus had the distance on it. It curved.
It was a line
It started
drive,
out
too.
straight, and then all of a sudden it just curved.
Tailed off at the end.
And so he would have had the distance, I think. I didn't get a very good look, but it sure looked like it. From one angle. You got to see all angles.
All 22.
Then when the Chiefs kick it and it bounces off the left upright, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is Seahawks, Arizona Cardinals game once again. Both kickers miss field goals. Game over, tie. And then I realized, they were like, I heard the commentary, it's good, it's good. So I was thinking already, awesome, I called it, it's going to be an overtime tie, I said that. Overtime has got to be changed in the NFL, first off. I'm going to go ahead and say that. And I think a lot of people would agree. But yes, definitely, Kubiak is going to take some blame, but he should not take that much because he is trying to win a game. Yes, you could settle for a tie. I understand.
That would give the Raiders the outright lead in the division, more so than a game.
By a half a game.
And I don't like that whatsoever. No one wants the Raiders to have the lead in the division, especially since you have the defending Super Bowl champion and the upcoming Kansas City Chiefs and even Phillip Rivers. You don't want that. We don't like the Raiders.
You're playing, well, and not necessarily they're looking, oh, it's Oakland winning. They are looking, thinking, we need this game. I think both coaches would have probably have kicked it. Maybe not so fast with Andy Reid. You don't know that. I thought it was a gutsy call. I loved it. Take chances. Pete Carroll would have done that. Pete Carroll is known for taking chances. Look what he did in the Super Bowl. He threw on the 1 yard line.
With the best running back
Yeah.
in the league.
He's taking
Cheers,
chances.
too.
That dude takes chances. I like the play call. Chiefs got a huge win. We're going to see these guys again.
Christmas night.
Sunday
Night football.
should be another great game. Defensive battle.
Yeah.
It should. Chiefs need to get healthy.
Yes. D4 needs to come back. Macklin needs to come back. Jay Howard needs to come back. Jamal Charles, maybe week 17. Man, imagine D4, Justin Houston, and Tom Bahali coming after you.
Yeah.
This AFC West, the defensive ends and outside linebackers. Oh, I am sorry for the quarterbacks in that division.
Yes.
Look out. It is scary good.
Chiefs, obviously, they've got to go down to
Atlanta this
Atlanta
Sunday.
this.
Then they turn around, which is going to be tough with Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Then they turn around and go and come back home to Arrowhead and face the Raiders on Thursday Night Football. And that might be a little tough.
Chiefs have the tougher schedule. Really, the Chiefs and Broncos both have a tough schedule. Looking at Denver, they've got 2 should-be wins. They go to Jacksonville, go to Tennessee, then they get New England. Then they go to Kansas City. That was a much-needed bye for the Broncos last week to get everyone healthy for one last run. Because right now, the Broncos would be out of the playoffs. Kansas City, yes, you were saying.
They go Atlanta, back home against the Raiders. I believe home against Tennessee.
Yep, and then Broncos.
And then home against Broncos, and then on the road in San Diego, beautiful San Diego, to finish the season.
Yeah.
And San Diego's not a sure win either. Because if you remember right, Chiefs got lucky in the first game in overtime when Alex Smith took over that game and just won it and rushed it in.
And another thing, don't count out the Chargers. Because they've got the Buccaneers this week, which we've talked about the Bucs. Then they got Carolina. From there on, it's 2 division games. You got the Raiders, and then the week before the Chiefs, they go to winless Cleveland.
LOL.
So, really, the West is still open. I do not see the Chargers making it, but you can't count out Phillip Rivers and company.
Yeah. Well, I've said enough on this. Everybody knows my thoughts. I tweeted a bunch last night, and I retweeted a bunch last night, and I was just too amped up. And Chiefs Kingdom deserves this because through the Peyton Manning years, it was a struggle against Denver, and I like how they overcame adversity here and won the game. Chiefs are sitting at 5th in the AFC, Broncos at 7th at the moment, and it's not over. This whole the division races.
It could be shooken up. It could be shooken up because
anybody's game.
Each team has the Titans.
Each team has each other still. So.
Yeah, Titans. They are still fighting for a spot in the playoffs. They could still win the AFC South because Houston is horrible. Brock Osweiler is not the man.
$72 million. What a bust.
John Elway made a smart, great GM decision. That is a total great move by a GM. I don't care if you're an Elway fan or not, that you got to admit that was a great, great move. And then on top of it, Colts. Yes, Andrew Luck should be back, but he's been banged up. And their whole team.
The offensive line was not good.
Yeah, and their defense isn't very good. Tennessee might sneak through. If they could win a game against either the Chiefs or Denver.
Look out. Mariota.
Mariota. Anyway, Matt.
That's enough about the NFL.
Let's switch it to the hardwood.
From yesterday. Yeah, hardwood. Tonight. Or not tonight. College basketball. It's that time of year again. We love this time, but we're focused on football still. Top AP poll came out. Top 5. Kentucky at 1. Nova at 2, the defending champs. UNC at 3. And then the Jayhawks at 4 and Duke at 5. With Virginia, Xavier, Gonzaga, and Baylor and Creighton to round out the top. Round out the top 10.
Watch out for Baylor.
Watch out for Baylor. They are athletic. Motley is very good.
Another team that is not in the top 10. They are just on the outside. They are number 11, UCLA, UCLA.
Yes.
The Bruins of UCLA.
They average 102 points per game.
They know how to put up points.
Whoa.
They might be the favorites in the Pac-12.
I agree.
Monday night tonight, Matt. We've got a poll up on our Twitter. Make sure you go follow us there. MHSM Sports Show is our username on Twitter. Make sure you go check that out. Vote. We want to see who you guys think wins tonight. It is the Packers at 4-6. That's hard to say. I haven't said the Packers at 4-6 for a long time. They go to Philadelphia at 5-5. Eagles are 4-point favorites, Matt. Who you got tonight?
Packers. It's a shootout. Packers defense is struggling mightily, and the Eagles offense is still not clicking. They're inconsistent, just like Cam Newton. But with that said, they might get out of that shell tonight, and since it is the Packers defense, Wentz might have some fun. And of course, Rodgers. Rodgers is still the best quarterback in the game, with the mentality of the game, the finesse that he has, the focus he has, everything, all quarterback attributes. You come back with Aaron Rodgers. He has the brain of the best football player, the best quarterback in the game. Like I said, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got the Packers. I'm not ready to count the Packers out because every year I say, Packers aren't gonna win it all. They somehow pull something out and just they're always there. I'm still not sold on giving up on this Packers squad. I think it is a shootout, 31-27. Both defense. Philly's defense is a lot better than Green Bay's. I mean, Green Bay's probably got the worst defense right next to the Browns, maybe.
No, below the Browns.
Yeah.
I'm calling. I said that.
Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback, though, of many greats. And that's
all trades.
Yeah, and that's why I've got the Packers in a shootout. I don't care what defense that he's going against. He's going to put points on the board. And so I've got Aaron Rodgers tonight winning, keeping the Packers season alive for at least one more week. You never know, because that NFC North, you have no idea what could happen. Vikings started out strong, then they struggled. Now the Lions are on a roll.
Team we don't really hear about much.
Yeah, and you never know if they're going to keep it up. They've been known before to fall. I mean, when they've had great teams. So, NFC North is still wide open. Right now, the favorite is the Lions, but don't count out Packers or the Vikings because they both could still get in somehow. Cowboys Vikings Thursday night. Vikings, that's almost a must-win for them, I would have to say. That's coming from a Cowboys fan. Matt, breaking news. You want to deliver that?
Well, after losing to the Kansas Jayhawks football team and losing to TCU 31-9, I believe was the score.
Yeah, I believe so.
Charlie Strong was fired early Saturday morning at Texas after 3 years with a 16-21 record in his tenure with the Longhorns. Then they had, and we knew all this was coming, really.
Yeah, he was getting
change of
fired.
scenery. He's a good coach. He needs just
He's a great guy too.
It's hard to go up to stay with that standard of excellence that Texas has had for a long time. Well, they went and stole someone from in-state. Not stole, but they grabbed Mr. Tom Herman as their next football coach Saturday mid-morning, the former Houston head coach, and hopefully he can bring back the state of Texas what they want, and that is the Longhorns as a national powerhouse once again.
Yeah.
The program needs that.
Yes, and then because there was talks that LSU was gonna offer him an offer.
Yeah.
You know, early Saturday morning, LSU though changed their minds.
Yep.
I think a lot of that had to do with the players. They went ahead and hired interim head coach Ed Orgeron as the program's next head football coach. He guided the Tigers to a 5-2 record, which they are playing in a bowl game. To be announced who they play, what bowl, when it is. Since he took over for the highly respected Les Miles, who was fired early in the season. Then also, Matt, some other college football news. There was talks on this on Sunday, late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, that Mark Helfrich, Oregon Ducks head coach, could be fired this week. Maybe.
He will.
They are looking. The university has looked for coaching candidates. He has not been fired yet. He was supposed to meet today, I believe it was, with the athletic trainers. So far, no word that he's been fired. But I'm an Oregon fan. Mixed emotions about it.
Some more stuff. Nelson Aguilar is expected to be inactive for the Eagles tonight. Maybe that plays into effect. And then the Big Ten announced today that they fined Michigan $10,000 and reprimanded Jim Harbaugh for his comments on the officiating after the loss.
And then also tragic.
Speaking of that, the loss, Ohio State.
Tragic news today.
Thoughts?
11 were injured when a person carrying a knife and drove a car into some stuff. A student of Ohio State injured a bunch of people. He was shot, so he is. They've released his name. Sad news. Sad news for the university. Prayers and thoughts to the families that are affected by this and the people that are affected by this. Tragic news. Huge campus.
Just one of the largest in the country.
Yeah. So very, very tragic and sad news. Matt, you want to look ahead to Tuesday's show real quick?
Tomorrow we'll have the Monday Night Football recap, some college football playoff rankings of our own before the show comes out, or the selection committee makes their selections, their picks. The NFL power rankings for this week 13. We'll have a little discussion on the NFL MVP race and who is deserving of it. And we might even talk about player of the years, the offense, defense, rookie of the years. And then the Heisman Trophy race with maybe one of the best quarterbacks to be accounted for touchdowns-wise and I've ever seen with Lamar Jackson, one of the front runners. And then breaking news and hot topics like always.
Yeah, and that concludes today's show. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at MHSM Sports Show. We got the poll up right now on Monday Night Football. Probably get one up for who you'd like to see in the college football playoff, what team to be number 4, or if you think Michigan stays in it. Also, make sure you like our Facebook page at Matty Highland Smitty McQueen Sports Show. And then also subscribe to us on YouTube. Search Matty Highland Smitty McQueen Sports Show. Go subscribe, like our videos. We like having you guys here. Once again, Wednesday, for you fans, we will be having our call-in fan day, where you, the fans, can call in, talk any hot topics of sports. We'll talk to you, listen to you, put you on live, and get you guys out there. And we want to hear your thoughts on sport topics. So, for
Matty Highland
and Smitty McQueen, we thank you for tuning in and look forward to seeing you tomorrow afternoon/evening.